Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, it's Jesse with the Common Nerd, bringing you pop culture and all things nerdy through a common sense lens. And obviously, probably one of the big hits of the summer is going to be the live-action Lilo and Stitch. I have no doubt in my mind this movie is going to end up making $1 billion globally quite easily, and I'm sure I have no doubt whatsoever my family will drag me to this movie as well. Because I did actually love the original Lilo and Stitch. It's got great themes of family and all of acceptance and all these other kind of wonderful, fun things. And any of those of us that remember, like the Warner Brothers cartoons and the gags Bugs Bunny used to pull and all that kind of stuff, would have found one scene particularly really funny where one of the aliens, completely and totally confused about how Earth actually works, decides to use a disguise as a female to try to infiltrate all of the humanity out there. Well, of course, as we all know out there, ladies and gentlemen, there is a whole bunch of weirdos in the world that, of course, like to cling on to anything they can see as representation for their own weird mental disorders out there, ladies and gentlemen. And of course, it's always a weird fact that for some reason they especially like doing it with children's entertainment. Well, we know Disney has been purging all of the LGBTQ alphabet soup mafia stuff from a lot of their children's movies and television series. They've scrapped many episodes. We heard from fired former Disney Pixar employees about how they made them take all of the gay stuff out of Inside Out 2, and it looks like they've done the exact same thing with Lilo and Stitch. And of course, the LGBTQ alphabet soup mafia out there is not happy about it as well, because as you can see here from thatparkplace.com, Disney scraps Pleakley dressed gag in live-action Lilo and Stitch after gender activists frame him as an icon, because of course he is. An alien pulling a gag that we have seen throughout cartoon history all before about the ridiculousness and silliness of a boy or a guy being in women's clothes and how ridiculous it is. Well, of course, it was just to them. Well, that was subtle messaging from Disney saying it was all okay. And now they're gonna remove it, and it's just not fair. Well, boys and girls, and considering the modern era right now and the way Disney is trying to get away from this stuff, although most of us would have seen this gag for exactly what it was, Disney knows in the current climate that any kind of semblance whatsoever of any kind of LGBTQ stuff inside of these children's television is going to immediately turn them off. Disney insiders admitted flat out that Disney itself thought the only reason that the Buzz Lightyear movie failed was because all of the marketing about the literal blink and you miss it gay kiss in the movie. So literally they are shying away from all of this kind of stuff, and it is absolutely hilarious that people are having an issue with this. So we're going to check out this article from thatparkplace.com. We're also going to pull up a couple of other examples because, like I said, it's not just That Park Place that's been talking about this and that's having an issue with this, and that also confirms that yes, indeed, the LGBTQ alphabet soup mafia cult out there did indeed think that this was an LGBTQ icon. So we're going to check out this article, getting all of the juicy details. But before we do, if you do enjoy our content, hit that like button, share with all your friends, and subscribe or follow if you have not already, boys and girls, because we are grinding, we are growing. We just crossed 1,900. We're sailing our way towards 2K, and I could not do that without every single one of you. Also, leave us a comment in the section down below. Does it surprise you at all that all of these weirdo Tumblr rejects out there, of course, latched onto a character in a children's cartoon out there that was clearly nothing more than a gag reminiscent of the Bugs Bunny classics from back in the day? Or do you think that absolutely this was Disney's subtle messaging out there, giving you another gay icon for all of you out there, weirdos out there to enjoy? Let us know what you think about that in the comment section down below. If you'd like to support the channel and become a member, please check out the links in the description down below. You'll get your name at the end credits of every single one of these videos and get access to members only streams where you get to hang out and talk about whatever nerdy stuff you guys would like to. So please check out the link in the description down below if that's something that interests you. All right, from that parkplace.com and our dear sweet Raven Redgrave, which shout out to Rewriting Raven. She is awesome. When Disney released the first trailer for the Lilo and Stitch live action remake, longtime fans noticed a curious detail. Pleakley, the beloved Lilo and Stitch comic relief character, looked a little different. In the original 2002 animated film, Pleakley, a one-eyed alien with a knack for disguise, frequently dressed in women's clothing while undercover on Earth. It was a running gag rooted in a cartoon absurdity played for laughs without deeper commentary. However, in the new version, the Lilo and Stitch Pleakley disguises seen in the trailer is male. Yes, boys and girls, Disney's not going to allow a single sniff or an inch around any parents out there thinking they're trying to push push an agenda by having this character dress up. Although obviously anybody that knows the original knows what the running gag would be. But needless to say, you know exactly how this would go down. I mean, our favorite, what is it, Hollywood Reporter, right? The guy that's like, is this the gayest Star Wars ever? Like, literally, that's would be like, is Pleakley a gay icon? And don't believe me? Yeah, no, trust me. There's plenty of articles over here that are asking the exact same kind of question out there as to why Disney didn't do this. So it's literally that kind of thing. Like, we know they're doing this. We know what the gag is. It's like I said at the beginning of the video, this is a gag that we saw Bugs Bunny pull a million times trying to get away from somebody trying to take him out. Like, this is not anything new inside of animated films. But of course, in the modern era, this would be taken completely and totally different. Though subtle, the update caught the attention of viewers. Some who were disappointed that Disney had seemingly dropped one of the character's most iconic quirks. Others, however, saw the change as a natural reflection of the current entertainment landscape, where certain types of humor have been more scrutinized. A post that sparked conversation. The shift gained traction on social media. And of course, this is Master of the TDS, and of course, complete and total disclaimer, that is Raven's husband. I've met both of them in Las Vegas. They're very wonderful people at one of the fellowship meetups. Had a great time. Lovely folks. Got the best compliment in the world from them that, hey, they said, guess what? Common Nerd is exactly how he is in person, or how he is in his videos in person. He is no different whatsoever. And I'm like, thank you. That's the nicest compliment I've probably ever gotten. So Master of the TDS here says, which is the Total Defense Shogun, mind you, it would have made sense for Pleakly's hologram disguise to be a woman as an homage to the original, but I get why they changed it. The world doesn't look at that kind of humor the same way anymore. Avoiding the possible controversy was probably the smarter move, and that's exactly what Disney is trying to do. They are trying to do everything they can to avoid controversy. Inside Out 2 proved that families will still show up to a Disney movie with their kids as long as they know it's not filled with a bunch of LGBTQ propaganda in it. And I honestly, that one surprised me. I thought Disney families were way more burned, and Inside Out 2 ended up making $1 billion. I had total egg on my face for that one. Like, I really did think it was going to flop, but that one right there proved to us that Disney families will still show up to your movies if they don't have to worry about a bunch of weirdo stuff in it that might influence their kids or cause their kids to ask a bunch of questions about things they don't even need to be thinking about at their age. It's just that simple. Protect the kids. That's all we're looking for. Have all your LGBTQ plus adult movies and television shows and all that kind of stuff all day long if you want. Have at it. Make as much money as you can possibly doing this, but leave the kids alone. The comment resonated with longtime fans. Many of them shared the sentiment that while the change was understandable, it still felt like a loss of a unique bit of the character's original quirky humor. Pleakly's disguise was never presented as serious or symbolic, nor were they meant to be. As the self-declared Earth expert of the Galactic Federation, Pleakly's approach to blending it was hilariously misguided. Wearing lipstick, wigs, and women's disguises wasn't framed as commentary, it was just Pleakly being Pleakly, clueless, cheerful, and completely convinced that he was nailing it. And it was a great gag. He was hilarious. He played up the whole woman thing the entire time. It was really, really funny. The kind of humor thrived in animation, where logic is flexible and visual exaggeration is the norm. In cartoons, as a one-eyed alien cross-dressing for a mission was no more shocking than a talking dog or villains who play the ukulele. The original Lilo and Stitch leaned into that energy, making Pleakly's disguise a fun reoccurring bit that added to the film's offbeat tone. It was a great running gag the entire time. Everybody giggled the entire time because even little kids know the difference between boys and girls' clothes. They understand there is a difference at a fundamental level. So of course they're like, ha ha ha, mommy, why is that little male alien dressed? Yeah, it's so funny. He's being so silly. He shouldn't be in girls' clothes. He's a boy. Something that clearly a bunch of weirdos on the internet don't understand. In today's hyper-politicized entertainment landscape, even a one-eyed alien in a wig can't escape cultural rebranding. Over the years, certain online communities have latched onto Pleakly's disguise: wigs, dresses, lipstick. Not as the absurdist humor they were clearly meant to be, but as some sort of symbolic expression of gender politics. The original Lilo and Stitch made no effort to frame Pleakly's outfits as anything deeper than a visual gag. He wasn't making his statement. He was a clueless alien fumbling his way through Earth's culture, convinced that a sun hat and heels made him invisible to suspicion. That was the joke. It was ridiculous, harmless, and very funny. The absurdity of it was the point. Nobody in the film paused for a sermon on identity or social meaning because there wasn't one. That's right. It was just a joke. It wasn't woke. They weren't trying to beat you over the head with any kind of identity politics nonsense. They were trying to talk down to you. They weren't trying to re-educate you. No, it was a running gag that everybody in the room got before all the weirdos left Tumblr. But now with the live action remake scrapping Pleakly's look, some fans online are treating it as an erasure of something it never was. Posts across Tumblr and Reddit have declared him an icon, claiming he somehow represented ideas that filmmakers never intended and viewers never asked for. In short, a running joke that is retrofitted into a cause. This is revisionism, plain and simple. The idea that Disney has taken something away by removing Pleakly's disguise only makes sense if you buy into the modern tendency to repackage every bit of comedy into a cultural message. It's not about respecting the original, it's about projecting current trends backward onto content that predates them. And she's absolutely right, 100% hand downs. We have seen this happen time and time again throughout many different characters, and she's not kidding. Here's the post right here from r/LGBT 5 years ago. 5 years ago. This isn't something that just happened recently. This is 5 years ago. Pleaky is a gender fluid icon. Same thing. Gender fluid icon. Over here on Tumblr. Michael DeVonzo. How old's this one right here? I have no idea. It doesn't give me a date. But same thing. Pleaky is a gender fluid icon. It's weird. They're all saying the exact same thing. It's almost like they're reading from the same script. I don't know, maybe I'm just crazy. But here's another one from them.us. I tried. Despite Lilo and Stitch director's efforts, Pleakley will not wear a dress in the real make. Real fans know her as Wendy Pleakley. Oh, yes. And this is supposed to be James Factora. I don't know. That face looks a little soft, guys. Maybe it was originally Jamie. I don't know. But real fans know her as Wendy Pleakley. So they're literally, this is a whole news article. This is from literally May 8th. This is just last week. For many millennials, Zoomers, and dare I say Zillennials, Lilo and Stitch serves as a foundational queer-coded movie. Oh yes, the story all about family and acceptance of a weird little fuzzy alien from outer space. It was a queer-coded movie, boys and girls. It was a queer. This is exactly what Raven was talking about. This is a prime example of what she was saying. Sure, there's the film's message about the importance of chosen family and loving the seemingly unlovable. But moreover, there's an alien with some word I can't say on YouTube, little wigs. Sadly, it seems as though the live-action adaptation of the movie, due out next month, will omit the latter, a controversy the director Dean Flesherkamp addressed in a recent video. Aww, the poor babies. And yet, it seems as though Pleakley won't be playing dress-up in the live-action adaptation, even though it's an important part of what makes the OG movie so much fun. I agree with you on that statement, but weirdos like you are the reason why Disney cut the gag, because you flat out said this character was queer-coded. This character was always known by true fans as Wendy. You freaks are the reason they didn't do the gag. It's absolutely ridiculous. And the director flat out said, I tried. That's literally all he said about it. I tried when a fan questioned him about it. And why? He tried. And I guarantee you, Disney's executives were the one that said, oh, hell no. We are not letting that happen because of weirdos like James Factora, who would have put all of that stuff in there. There would have been headlines written about this movie nonstop. Queer icon finally makes the first live action appearance in Disney's new Lilo and Stitch. And you know what would have happened? Every parent that saw that headline would have went, oh, hell no, not again. I'm not going to watch that movie, which is exactly why Disney cut it. So James, if that is your original birth-given name, James, people like you and the rest of your cult are the reason the gag was cut. Was absolutely cut. Same thing. This is another one. This is from lovebscott.com. It's the exact same thing. Notably, several characters look different, and fans definitely have some thoughts. With social media buzzing about the changes, the big question is whether this adaptation will capture the original magic, right? Lilo and Stitch to new generations, yada, yada, yada. One of the biggest surprises was for Agent Pleakley, an alien who's self-proclaimed Earth expert, was originally portrayed as fully alien, now appearing human in the remake. He and Jumbo use holograms to disguise themselves, dressing up as a tongue-in-cheek. Pleakley specifically designed dresses. Many consider him to be somewhat of a gender-fluid and transgender icon. So, oh yes, this isn't the only places that it's seen. That's what we're talking about. This is revisionist history that does not have a place in the modern era. And Disney has been burned so many times by you LGBTQ alphabet soup mafia weirdos, Mr. Factora, that they literally are not going to allow even a basic gag that the majority of the normal, common sense folks out there would actually get and understand. So yeah, in a TikTok video responding to a fan comment that read, "How dare they ruin Pleakley's disguise like that?" Flesher Camp simply replied, "I tried," while showcasing concept art of Pleakley in his iconic costume. According to WDW News Today, his short but telling answer confirmed that the creative team had considered keeping Pleakley's signature dress and wig design, but the idea was ultimately scrapped in the final version. And it's absolute fact. You know, and you can go through, I highly recommend going through and reading the rest of Raven's article. She's got a lot of really great opinions on this. She really teaches a lot about how the culture has changed over the time and things like that and why this isn't acceptable. But I think we've gone over pretty well of this whole situation, right? It's very plain and simple that Disney is extremely gun-shy at this point about anything that might be construed by weirdos like this, that of course weirdos like this might construe as some kind of LGBT kind of stuff and put a bunch of headlines out there that are going to tank the movie. Disney's not going to let that happen. We had the insiders from Pixar. They talked to IGN. It wasn't like they were talking to WDW Pro. It wasn't like they were talking to, thatparkplace.com or Bounding Into Comics or anything like that. They were talking to IGN. These are former Disney employees that were fired and went to IGN and cried and whined because Disney made them pull all the gay crap out of Inside Out 2. Disney knows that pushing this agenda, especially in their children's entertainment, and honestly in their overall entertainment, has destroyed and devastated their brand. Somebody in that side of that company still has half a brain in their head and can see the writing on their wall. Parents do not want your LGBTQ alphabet soup agenda-driven nonsense forced down their children's throat. They are not going to put up with it. They are not going to deal with it, and Disney knows this. So by all means, all you weirdos out there who decided to project your own selves onto a character that was literally reminiscent of a Bugs Bunny gag, and cry and whine all you want, because Lilo and Stitch, without your transgender icon in it anymore, is going to make $1 billion at the box office. It's going to make Disney a whole buttload of money. It is going to reaffirm that this is the only successful path going forward. Get rid of the spirit of the age, agenda-driven nonsense, and Disney, you might actually have hits going forward with the family. If not, well, we've seen what's happened over the past few years, but I didn't think I'd ever say this. Ladies and gentlemen, I think Disney learned their lesson, and it's no more LGBTQ, at least in children's entertainment, boys and girls.